Let's talk about Battletech Minis and the unseen artwork. So for my next part, we're going to talk about the Stinger, my little guy right here. The Stinger can best be described as a mountaineer reconnaissance mech that also happens to be really handy as a trainer. It is extreme. It is as light as mechs come. It's not heavily armed, but it can jump. It's very maneuverable. In story, it's also a knockoff of a mech we'll cover later. You might recognize this artwork, which clearly has been licensed from Super Dimension Fortress Macross, or as it's known in America, we don't talk about that. In 2003, it underwent a radical revision, and for some reason in the initial design of it, they gave it these boob rockets. And then later, instead of boob rockets, it just gained one really big gun. And then in the present day, the Stinger was redesigned to be more in tune with that original licensed anime artwork without being a license of the image and instead being more of its own thing. Now, I don't like the Stinger in any iteration for multiple reasons, but the first one has to be, no matter what iteration it is, the square cockpit. This thing it looks tiny, cramped, uncomfortable. It has a limited field of view and just, meh. Every iteration of the Stinger is that it's a light machine that tries to play at doing something heavier machines are better suited for. It exists for gameplay purposes to give us multiple choices on the light mech spectrum. It just doesn't give us a good choice. The laser and twin machine guns of the, quote, standard configuration are best utilized for urban pacification rather than any sort of real combat experience, even with the jump jets aiding maneuverability in that so-called mountaineering aspect of it. Too small, too spindly, doesn't do any job particularly well, even the ones that it's meant to, or even the ones that it's adapted to. The Stinger is ultimately a failure of design, and no amount of artwork can really solve that problem. Now come back next time, and we'll talk about the thing that the Stinger stole from, the Wasp.